Hey, it's me again, PARACONOMY Inc. I'm dressed in a Divine Jade outfit. I'm currently co-opting two streams here and on Chatterbait. If you want to go check out Divine Jade, you can go check that out. Right now, I'm attempting to just clear the air here. I just texted my landlord, Cliff, to allude to some of the weird human trafficking allegations that have been going on, and he wants to cut ties, which is completely illegal to do. He wants to remove himself from all accountability, even though it happened on his premises, and several other connections that Cliff has utilized to help maintain the Latina women here at Green Oaks and allow them more comfortable stays for maybe just one, but like clearly a couple of more different people who are supplying him with cocaine that are federally basically involved, covering up many of the Morley and Fox Landings LLC money laundering that's happening outside of the state's eyes and at Fireworkers Casino, Firewater Resort, and Soaring Eagle Casino. Other things that were open during lockdown. Now, as these landlords continue to launder the money of the renters through illegal means such as drug, prostitution rings, and other gambling that have evolved into a Rufalin ring that have allowed people to traffic other people in and out of our country through into the Epstein Island clientele list and beyond, because we just put on airs here at Michigan State to get funding from President Donald Trump's Chamber of Congress in order to recreate and reinstill the RNC and the DNC that currently facilitate some of the office buildings right down the street at the Capitol. We need to make sure that these people are held accountable for all loose lips that sunk the ships out here, that shunk them out and chopped them up into many, many little pieces that were too hard to commit to, and assumingly nobody would have the means to go all the way back retroactively to check out, because what has already been swept under the rug is all clear and near, which is why they haven't been able to clean up any of the mess of the allegations that I'm currently pressing them with. Now today, I ratted on a couple of the neighbors who have currently been holding me captive here. I've been being held emotionally, spiritually, and physically hostage here, while they're also dehumanizing me in cruel and unusual ways while I'm on probation in order to make an example of the mob law that they're also co-opting with Cliff, the landlord, and he is essentially saying, I cannot add into whatever it is, whatever you're going through, you have to go talk to the police about. And we'll see if they bring up anything into congruency of whether or not that's important on my property that I just denied having anything to do with. Okay, so to just disclose some more of the civilian disclosure, they have money, they have plenty of opportunities, and what they're using that is to seize together the moment on what it was that they're actually cutting loose. And that's my birthright as a first Native Hawaiian male from Lalani Estates and Ellis Island, boom, to connect here in private to also diminish a royal and leech off of my well-being, being born on Christmas Day as a Hawaiian, as a dual state ambassador, and now as a victim, being human trafficked, being roofied, being chloroformed, and utilizing a whole litany of magic and occult activity with human trafficking and other less than desirable variables that have led into this equation of me reporting all of my tenants that have been spiritually watching me for my family, and also co-opting my likeness in order to gain popularity, which resulted in the Super Bowl halftime with Kendrick Lamar recently this past month, and plenty of other weird paranormal phenomenon that simply cannot be explained, even though there's plenty of receipts that have been divvied out over the course of different people's decision making. Now, this doesn't seem very reputable of our state legislator when all of these tenants are in cahoots with the prosecutor lawyer that threw me in jail and put this on my case. Now, the teachers are backpedaling, saying that they are hands-free, that we taught you everything we needed to know, even though they all decided to single-filely put me through each file of why they just don't want me to have equal. So that leads us to this whole conversation as to who, what, when, where, why, and how we're going to play out some of the settlement causes, because we're talking about a very dangerous occurrence that people are attempting to schlub off their accountability and responsibilities in order to hold what's true to be as holding you to the bar of justice. Because if we cannot reprimand this example and this cycle, we're doomed to keep repeating it before it gets better. And because we're not willing to break the mold here and send off the right exuberance towards this flavorful disposition here, people are being lazy. They're assuming too much privilege over my well-being and the fact that they got this. However, all of these tenants have been trying to get me to make less money, put myself in danger. They made me homeless. They flooded my sink for 2 months. They flooded my sink knowingly. They fed me at Lou and Harry's. They fed me some weird cocktail. It didn't taste like an orange soda, and it was all brown and green and like full of soap and stuff. It tasted awful. And it looks like I'm being led through some weird propagated sort of humiliation rituals dictated by our country. Now, if that doesn't sound safe, we just voted it in for Project 2025. And that's a huge part of this agenda of being able to resend blame and accountability off towards the people that have put the situation on at all. So, as we continue to read through some of the messages that I'm being sent here, legally speaking, my landlord has very, very little to offer me here and is looking to take less accountability simply because he knows that I am working on Chatterbait. And he doesn't want to get caught up in the fact that he housed a trans person or a Chatterbait model, knowing that I could still pay, I could still be working for it, but all the neighbors are making a big turfy deal about me simply facilitating the fashion and clothing and the aesthetic cosmetic vanity that's allowing. Now, vanity shouldn't be all opulent, and most people understand that, but the people that I'm currently dealing with are pushing an agenda that their vanity is more important than the justice of the truth that it is that I'm settling here. So I want you to all to bite off a piece of this. I'm going to go ahead and rewrap this up, go a couple of frames back and study what it is that I've been putting out there and on the internet for you guys so that you guys can digest this. We've only got a week left here in February, and then it's March. I cannot pay rent. I owe $3,000. $3,000 that could have been paid by my parents, who are now also involved in the human trafficking and roofie occult rings of our education system and our detention facilities. Our higher up government, Stacey Buchanan and Cynthia Ward with Lonnie Ward, have been able to play against me and my well-being financially because they simply think I should be a desirable man and not a desirable woman. So whatever that may mean to you, I was just falsely framed for domestic violence and attempted murder with a case that was her word over mine, and she's gone back to the psych ward a few times now and saw dysregulated several other fights with other people after I put myself in a place of helping this person get off of Xanax, get them a house, get them a job, and make them a productive member of society, something that I shouldn't have to parent when her mother is a teacher, knows my mom, who is also a teacher, retired now, for Michigan public schools. And now her mom is dating an old student that has allowed this to play out. And now my mom and my dad and my sister and family have all fornicated with people that I'm supposed to be friends with that are my age. And so now they're all selling heroin to each other. They're all selling a bunch of weird stuff and doing weird things behind my back when all that they needed to do was talk to me in order to have a little bit of fun. But because they all decided, my sister decided that I'm better than my brother. My birthday's not on Christmas, and it doesn't matter because I'm the oldest. I get to decide for the family. And she hasn't talked to me in order to put my likeness out in Hollywood and support any argument against me. So you guys all know Cliff, Elise Costello, and Cliff Management Morley. We're just going to call him, rope them both in. Fox Landings know each other as landlords. And now they all divide property against each other here in Michigan. And they utilize the winnings to go launder my likeness out through the media outlets and the casinos and the financing by putting my name into the bar as a criminal and as an inconsiderate Mexican, something that I am not. So that's why this profiling against a blonde trans woman who simply has the female marker, and me, who has no female marker, just male, is getting tried publicly. Without... They sent me to jail without underwear. They sent me to jail while I was camming. And I had just done an enema in the shower, and the cops came and picked me up. I had to poop it out in front of them. Okay? I literally had to poop it out in front of them. So this is why you guys needed to talk directly to me before we decided to make this into a big issue here on YouTube. It's 2/42, 2/21/2025. I guarantee that this is going to go back and forth between whose fault, who's accountable, and how we're going to move forward for the next 5 years. Okay? I guarantee you that for at least until the end of my lease here, they're going to be going back and forth trying to evict me. Okay? I can't make any money with the tenants telling me what to do, how to live my life, and how to perform my scheduling as a manager, as a CEO, an accomplished student under many spiritual practices. I now have a life coaching degree. I have a doctorate in metaphysics. I also have a slew of other things. I'm a Jedi now. Ordained. I can ordain you as a Jedi and as the first Hawaiian born off reservation here in Michigan. On Christmas, as Christmas royalty, Ellis Island, Leilani Estate royalty. Okay, no one's taking me seriously. Leilani is furious with Cynthia Ward, trying to navigate all of this weird occultism and why I'm being religiously shunned into this whole part of America's corporal system of corporal punishment and reform, and why we just can't have that cleared off of my record. When my sister's doing heroin, my mom doesn't care because all she cares is that pot is legal and that I'm doing it legally. Okay, this goes way back to before I got my first my first arrest, and I got profiled as a Mexican and scapegoated by people who thought they were cooler than me. So I just want you to reallocate there. And then the second one, I also get scapegoated yet again. I have been sitting here waiting for someone to come in and say, "Hey, what did happen in those 7 years you were in Chicago at art school? We don't have an art college like that. Can you fill us in on what your experience was and teach us a few things? That would be great." Then we would be able to put you on the right ways so you don't have to feel like you have to ask and beg for our approval and our money. So as you can see, my sister has had a very, very simple life up until recently, and she's had to hide a lot more. She's had to launder a lot more garbage. And so if you guys can't get on board with my family knowing Gretchen Whitmer and the rest of these felons on the docket that have been put on company property, Kat, Sam, Jessica, Cassie Mars, Naja, Sadie, a lot of people. Okay, here's the four core. Those guys next door, also are, dude, it is the whole place at Green Oaks off of 1020 Prospect. There are tons of people here who know why I'm here and are attempting to look at doing me harm. They're looking at doing me danger and making sure I don't hear the end of it. So if that doesn't wrap up a little bit of civilian disclosure for the day, because this got my ex-girlfriend murdered, okay? And now they're stalking me. That after human trafficking me, this, and everybody's guilty. Nobody wants to come clean about it. I haven't gotten a phone call, an email, anything about everybody's attempting to making me homeless, displaced, gentrified. Okay? Period. If you give a fuck about trans rights, if you give a fuck about punk rock, if you give a fuck about anything that's lit in hipster culture, I brought dubstep into Michigan. I'm the whole reason that they play Excision and Skrillex at Lost Lands. I'm why things happen at North Coast and Lollapalooza here in Chicago in the Midwest. So if people don't enjoy what I've offered them and other people take credit for giving my rest of my family that, I have been written off as a complete moron. And I am sitting here today thinking that's not the entire case, and that maybe some retributions could be paid off.